here we are to talk about Rocky Horror. Let's start by just quickly popcorning around to our artists who are from the team and quickly introduce yourself. Say which character you play, or if you're a designer, what you're designing, and tell me real quick the first time you ever saw Rocky Horror, whether that's the first time you saw the movie, the first time you heard a song, the first time you saw it on stage, just kind of your first Rocky moment. And let's start with our fearless leader, director Amber Smith. Will you start us off?
I will. Hello. Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining and taking the time. So appreciate it. I'm Amber Smith. I'm the director for the show with all of these lovely, lovely team members, both actors and designers. My first time seeing Rocky, I don't even know if I can remember. I'm feeling very old right now. It was the movie forever ago. I don't even think I can give you a date. I'm sorry. I'm very bad with this. First question.
Careful, Amber.
My other responses will be better.
That's okay. So you saw
What did you say, Kit?
I said careful, Amber, when you talk about how long ago it was.
It was when Kit did it the first time.
Pardon that. Well, and I saw it back in 1979. So
back when dinosaurs roamed the earth, right, Kit?
Yes.
Yep.
Kit, why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm Kit Wilder. Most of you know me. And I was this time I was Riff Raff B, who I was for the opening weekend only until Matt came back mercifully and let me go off on my merry way and breathe and recover. But also I was Frankenfurter in Rocky Horror when we did it in 2003.
That's awesome. For those of you who don't know, we did the show in 2003 and in 2013, and it's so great to be back. All right, thank you, Kit. Let's pass it over to, I see Alicia and Gwen. Introduce yourselves.
Hello, my name is Alicia Adami. I use they, them pronouns. I'm playing Columbia, and the first time I saw Rocky Horror was, I think I was with a bunch of theater friends in high school, which, you know.
That tracks.
Horror viewing. And it was the movie. I've actually never seen it live.
Ooh. Hello, my name is Guinevere Cristobal. I use they, she pronouns, and I play Janet in Rocky Horror. I think my first time I saw the movie, I probably watched it behind my parents' back in middle school.
Yeah. Yeah. Karen, you want to go next?
Sure. I won't tell you my personal story about seeing Rocky Horror for the first time that I shared with all of you all at our first rehearsal, but I will tell you that I saw it when I think I was a junior in high school, which is 78, and was immediately enamored with the whole acting it out and everything. And I have seen it on stage both times that City Lights did it with Kit as Frankenfurter, and then the one we did 10 years ago. Oh, by the way, she, her, and I play the narrator.
Thank you, Karen. Yeah, I use she, her pronouns as well. Thanks for reminding me of that. Ethan and Matt, want to go next?
Hello. Oh! Not the double. We're in the same room. Sorry.
Oh, I see.
Hi, I'm Ethan Glassman, and I play Brad, he, him pronouns, and I first heard of Rocky Horror, watched Rocky Horror, Glee Season 2, Episode 5, 2010.
Nice.
Wow.
Well, hi, everybody. My name is Matt Locke. I'm playing Riff Raff in this production, he, him pronouns, and first time I saw Rocky Horror was... I think it was a shadow cast, actually. It was a shadow cast, and I didn't know what that was. So I thought I was just watching the movie, but then people were miming it underneath, and everyone was yelling things, and I couldn't hear the movie. And and then I saw a friend in a production. I'm like, oh, now I understand the words that are being said. Yeah.
Now you get it. Nice. Will, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Will, and I play Rocky, he, him, and my first Rocky experience was really young. This is my mom's favorite Halloween movie. She puts it on every year. So I saw it probably around 10 years old. I didn't go to a midnight show until high school, and I could drive my sister if she wanted to go. And I'm not gonna lie, it was her that was really dragging me, but I really enjoyed it. And we went, once a month to the Silver Screen in Pensacola, Florida. Yeah, and it's been a dream of mine to do this. I'm over the moon about this whole experience.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thanks, Will. And we've got Lonnie here as well.
I can't unmute myself. Hello, yes. I'm Lonnie Fullerton, she, her pronouns, and I got the wonderful job of designing costumes for these amazing people. They are so beautiful. They're beautiful inside and out. So it's been a real treat working with this group. I love them. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you, Lonnie.
Oh, and I didn't see Rocky Horror until I was much older. I was raised very strict Mormon, and we had to sneak behind the back, and probably with a group of drama friends, we were watching all the shows that I wasn't allowed to see, but no longer Mormon, and now I can watch it as much as I want. So that's why I'm there all the time. Great.
You're
All right.
catching up.
Thank you.
Nice. Bart.
Good evening. I am Bart Perry. I am Dr. Frankenfurter. Oh, my pronouns are he, him. My first introduction to Rocky Horror was doing the show.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
I still to this day have not watched the movie. Haven't seen the live version,
Yeah.
a live musical, so it was an experience for me, and I'm really happy that I did it. So thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Amber.
I think Paul's head just exploded. Mine too.
Yeah, it has to die.
Wow.
Can't believe it.
Wow, that's awesome, Bart. I was just remembering the first time I saw it. I saw the movie, I think when I was 14 or 15 with my best friend. And for some reason, her dad took us to the midnight show. I don't know why. And I just remember right as the floor show scene was starting, he's like, I've had enough. We're going. And he dragged us out. And I'm not sure what it was about the floor show, but that's when we had to leave. So I've never seen any of that after that in the movie. Interesting. And did I see Chloe? Did I see Chloe Angst pop up and then disappear?
Yep.
Hi, Chloe.
Hi. Sorry, I'm kind of multitasking. I'm on another Zoom meeting at the same time, but I didn't want to miss this one. Hi, I'm Chloe. My pronouns are they and she, and I play Magenta and the usherette. And my parents showed me Rocky Horror when I was like maybe 10, I think. They were really into it, and they knew all the words, and they were really excited to show it to me when I was a kid. And they were like, "Oh, is she ready for it?" They were like, "Yeah, she's ready for it." So we watched it together as a family, and it was wonderful.
Well, we're glad you're here, and we understand if you have to pop in and pop out. That's just the way of the world these days. So glad you're here, Chloe. Thank you. Well, this is great. I'm so glad to have so many of you here. As I said, many of you will watch it later on YouTube. So hello to the future. And some of you have your cameras off, and that's okay. Happy to have you either way. I've got a bunch of photos that I will share. I just want to start off. I always like to show the team photo of everybody acting silly. That's just one of my favorites. So there we go. Spotlight. Cheers to our amazing photographer, Evelyn Huynh, who took the production photos, and Christian Pizzirani took the pre-production photos. We'll have one of those of Matt. And I love this. There's always one photo that's just, and Lisa in the front row kind of looking like, what is happening? That makes me happy. Let's start out with our director, Amber. Many of you may know that this is her first time directing at City Lights, so she's an experienced director in other places, but this is not your first time on our stage. For those of us who don't know, tell us about your first City Lights experience. Oh, about a year ago.
Oh, about exactly a year ago this time. I was so lucky to be part of Kinky Boots at City Lights last year. I played Nicola, and I got to work with Matt and Ethan and Bart and Karen. And so very glad to be able to work with them again. And I think I have said thank you to Lisa about 7 million times when I was like, hey, I like to direct musicals. Do you need somebody to direct a musical? She's like, by happenstance, I do. And so I was very, very excited that she invited me in, and it's just been great. The family is wonderful.
Oh, that's great. And though
Yeah.
I doubt there's anybody in this call who doesn't know Lisa, we're referring to Lisa Millette, our executive artistic director, who's on this call. Hello, Lisa. Wonderful. Yeah, Kinky Boots. Also a fantastic show. Absolutely loved it. It's on over and over. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see you in it, Amber, because you were sick and missed a couple of performances, and those were the ones I saw.
Because COVID hit our cast. So that was
Yeah, but we all got through
wonderful
it.
and amazing.
All got through it. Could you say a couple words about Rocky Horror? Obviously, it's more than 50 years old at this point. What is relevant about it today? What's important about it today? Why should people go see this right now? What do you love about the show?
Well, I love a lot of things about the show, not least of which is just the music in and of itself, which I think is it's awesome that that music, that style, that variety is still relevant today, and it still feels uber current. It feels very relevant to theater today. But I mean, just the topic, the area in and of itself, I think that you are able to evolve this show in so many different ways over time. It meant a lot back then, and also a little back then. It was the ode to our like B science fiction movies. And then also at the same time, it had really powerful messaging about who we are, who we can be, being ourselves. And I feel like, especially now, and I'm going to just toss out in political climate in the world that we live in today, it's even more important to reinforce that message about being yourself, feeling as though you can live out whatever dream, whether it's fantasy or reality, that you choose. And I think that this show just does that in such a fun way, in a way that it is a little bit out there. I mean, many times during rehearsal, we were like, just don't try to make this logical. There's not a logical response to the questions that we're asking. But that's also like, let's just have that be our existence. And that's the reality we want to exist in. And let's just go there. And so it just is a lot of freedom and also a lot of responsibility in relating this message about be who you want to be.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, there is a lot in the story that's just like, well, now this is happening and there's a spaceship and
Yeah.
But everybody who's on that stage is completely invested in the story, so it almost doesn't feel weird because we're on this ride with you. And that's just the way it is.
Well, and we actually spent a lot of time and please cast, feel free to jump in. We spent, I think it was an entire rehearsal near the very beginning. We literally just sat on the stage and talked story. And we said, who are we? Where have we been? Why are we here? What's this relationship here? What does this look like? What's the actual goal? What the hell is Riff actually doing? Is he the method, the like man behind the curtain? So we've sat for a long while together and just kind of talked through what we thought as a group. And like I said, we evolved the story on our own, and made it what this specific group in this specific space at this specific time really wanted it to be. So, and
Nice.
please feel free to jump in, Cass. I don't need to.
I would have liked to have been a fly on the wall at that rehearsal. That sounds
It
fascinating.
was fun.
I
Yeah.
think that the show, if I can just poke in just for a second, I think the show has a whole new wrinkle to it these days with the preponderance of people who are choosing gender. You know, that wasn't really a thing, you know, really back when the show was created. It was, and so it's prescient in that way. It's like look at what's going on, and that's a whole new kind of wrinkle to it to give it some kind of some unexpected gravitas, right? I mean, it's suddenly because it's important again, and I think that's great.
Thank you, Kit.
Sure.
Anybody else want to jump in? That's okay. There's plenty of time to jump in along the way. Very cool. Good stuff. one of the things I absolutely love about this production is the person who guides us on the journey is the wonderful Karen DeHart as the narrator. And we often think of the narrator as a very sort of maybe proper British man. And we have Karen in all her beautiful, sassy femininity. And she's just rocking it. I got to throw in a photo here. This is one of my favorite moments of the entire show. Just this tiny little moment. I love it so much.
Oh yeah.
When it's raining and the narrator comes out and pops up her cocktail umbrella. Whose idea was that? The cocktail umbrella. I
Okay,
just love it.
okay, you know, a lot of people have asked me that, and Amber and I came up with that together. I want to put a shout out to Amber. She is one of those directors that just lets you explore and lets you create with her.
Mm.
She's not there going, you have to do this way. She goes, well, what do you think? And then you do something. She goes, yeah, but how about this too? Do that, but let's add this, you know. So she's so collaborative, and it makes you just feel that your creativity as an actor is so important. So I was coming in after the rain sequence, and I said, how about I get one of those little umbrellas, you know, like the tightrope walkers, you know, have, you know, that smaller umbrella. And she goes, how small do you want to go? And I went, what do you mean? She goes, how about a cocktail umbrella? And I'm like, oh, yes. And Amber, that gets a response every single night. So it was just kind of like we built on this idea together. And that's with pretty much everything, you know, like the scene with the drink in your hand. Come in with a drink in your hand. So I came in a little slightly tipsy one night. She said, and you know, so she
Yes,
just
I am.
allowed me to explore that more and more, and people are enjoying that too. So, and I have to say, I went in thinking I was going to be very prim and proper, and when I met with lovely Lonnie, and I said, okay, so do you need to know my suit size? And what she said, we're not doing a suit.
Mm.
And she opened her sketches, and I was like, I'm so happy. Oh, I'm so happy. And it informed the whole character. That picture of what she drew made me go, okay, I know what I'm going to do. And it's because of that and the collaborative uh, life that's in that Amber and all the creative staff allowed us to have. So I've been having a ball. So thank you for allowing me to go on this ride, y'all.
Ah, so much fun. And I love this story. I kind of want to ask Lonnie to send me that picture so I can put it in his
Oh, Lonnie,
roll.
I
This goes
want
on
that too,
YouTube.
Lonnie. I want to frame it, honey.
Oh, I want to
Oh.
redo it though because you make it look so much better. So I love what it evolved into. That's the thing. It's like Karen said, "Oh, I have these fabulous shoes," and she brought them. I was like, "Oh my gosh, we have to use those shoes. They're incredible." And then I was like, "Well, we need more touches of red. Let's get some red finger, you know, netted gloves and a little red choker, and put some red in her hat." And I got the idea of the corset from some research that I was doing with my costume design. I was looking through and I found this corset that had a painting on it. And I thought, oh, that's cool. And then I thought, well, let's bring in that mouth, right? You know, she's the guide, she's the talk, you know, and I found these patches that were sequin because I was going to paint it on the corset, but then I wasn't sure how the fabric was going to handle the paint. And I wanted something a little more shimmery. So when I found these glitter like mouth appliques, I was like, let's do it, but let's do it 4 times and shape it around her. And when she turns around, like I was there Saturday night and she turns around, I'm like, yeah, she's gorgeous. And then it just looks so good on her, you know, and she just does her little strut. And I'm like, oh, I love that, you know. So it turned out better than I could. But again, everybody here is so collaborative. So like I think it evolved from that drawing and then it went to a whole other level. And I can say that about almost every single character. Everybody was willing to meet me and make it even better. So that made it turn out really
All of the
nice.
costumes, Lonnie. I'm so impressed with you. And,
Oh.
we always are talking in the dressing room, not only how good we all look, but how nice you are. And
Oh, thank
and we are
you.
so glad you came in.
Oh,
That's
thank you.
So
That
yeah,
means a lot.
you've added a tremendous amount. to this show,
Oh,
to the energy. So thank you.
well, you're welcome, and it's been a delight. And I was at the theater today, right after I taught all my classes, so I'm like running back and forth. Like I'm gonna be sad when it's done, but it's really feeds my soul too, as an artist. So I just couldn't have asked for a better cast too, and a better experience. It was really sweet. It's been really nice.
Oh, that's wonderful. And from a marketing standpoint, I run the publicity photo shoots, and it was like sometimes it's a little scary how little time we have. And Lonnie was like, "Yeah, I got you. Oh, you want this actor and this actor? I got you. Boom, boom, boom." It's okay. We're off and running. Lonnie, tell us how many. Well, I don't know. There's so many costumes. Did you make most of them from scratch? Are they sourced? Are they borrowed? Are they improved upon from past shows?
Okay, there's a variety of things that
Yeah.
happen with these costumes. So originally I used to work for Theater Works, and so I had reached out to my old boss Jill Bowers, and I thought I might go and rent some things, but then we are very limited on if we can make alterations. So then I kind of
Right.
thought, no, I don't think we're going to rent anything. So I did. Amazon was amazing. I've never designed a show with Amazon before, so Amazon was amazing. And I also built a lot of things. Like some things from my imagination, I had to really create and make a pattern, and I killed my sewing machine over the summer and my hands. And I just, so like when I look at the
Yeah.
floor show, I go, okay, that boa took me 3 hours, that top took me 3 or 4 hours, hand sewing the trims on and putting the boning. But I did buy the base because that saved me some time. But then I realized the closure wasn't going to work for this long of a run. So you have to change the closures and make that. So, I mean, each outfit, it took some time, because even though we got this gorgeous dress for Janet, we wanted to change how it closed and how it could come on and off of her, and so all of those things just take time. And I did a lot of hand sewing, lots of days of 8 hours of sewing with my hands. And I got to the point where my hands were like, okay, you need to take a break, and like my sewing machine stopped doing back stitches, so I was hand tying every seam. And so it was just one of those
Jeez.
things where I was like, can anything go wrong? But like I picked up my sewing machine on Saturday, and the repair guy, he said, well, do you do a lot of sewing? And I said, well, I did this summer, and I told him about the costume design. And then I'm also a teacher, so I'm going to teach my 5th graders some sewing. He goes, oh, I have another machine for you. And he just handed me a brand new machine, and it's computerized and everything. And I was like, thank you. But that was one of those moments where I'm like, oh, thank you so much. So I just find that if I keep a positive attitude, good things happen, and things just keep, coming my way. And honestly, I wouldn't change a thing on the hours that I spent on it, just because when I go and see it, I think I'm so proud of how they look and how it turned out. So I'm just thrilled that
You can tell the amount of love and passion you put
Oh.
into those costumes. And hands down, the compliments that people say to me after the show, they loved it, the singing was great, but they almost to a person will talk about how great the costumes are. So
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so great. And we had such a great group on Saturday night that were all in costume too. And that was fun to visit with them and talk to them about how long they took to get ready. And they're like, oh, you're the costume designer? And we all, started chatting about that. So you're bonding with the community, you're bonding with each other. It's just been a great experience. So thank you for all the love and support. I appreciate it.
Oh, that's wonderful. Lisa. Yeah.
Lonnie, I just wanted Saturday, you were sitting next to that amazing audience member that was dressed as Frankenfurter in the lab from the movie. And I didn't know if you knew them or not.
Well, we talked a lot, and we took pictures together. I have their photos, and I know they've worked with Chloe A. So I was like,
okay.
yeah. So they were
Nice.
telling me about the company they're a part of and who was with them, and
They
then
looked so great.
they looked amazing. So I wish I could show you all that picture, but I mean, he had everything done. I mean, the pearls, his makeup, he looked just like the movie, and
He
bloody
did. He looked like
gloves.
a mini Tim Curry. You know?
Totally.
I
Totally.
mean, there's no holding a candle to Bart
No.
Perry, but
No.
if you're gonna dress up and you haven't seen Bart Perry, then that was pretty good.
Exactly. Well, I warned him. I said, I'm not doing the traditional look. So I said, you got to let me know what you think about it. But they loved it. They thought it was so much fun. So that was great.
Them's big words, Lisa. No holding the candle to Bart Perry.
Sorry, Kit. Did I hurt your ego for a second? You
No,
were
no,
really
no, I'm
super.
just saying.
You were amazing in 2003, but today is about Bart.
It's Bart's Day. Yeah.
What did I tell you when I went to a rehearsal for Kinky Boots last year, and I first met Bart? What is one of the first things I said to you about Bart?
You said Frankenfurter.
Yeah. Yep.
And he's like, what?
Yeah,
never
I
heard
didn't
it.
know
What
what we were
is that
talking
show?
about.
Who? Franken what?
Frank, who is this murder?
Wait, am I playing two people? Frank and Furter?
Oh no.
That was literally one of the first things Bart said to me is he was like, but wait, Amber, do I have a good part? Wait, is it a good
Oh
part?
my gosh.
I was like,
Bart, I know I pushed you so hard, but
welcome
I'm
to the
so
show.
grateful that you finally broke down.
I appreciate you. I'm enjoying the journey. I'm glad that I was pushed out of my comfort zone. I'm really, really happy.
Good.
So much love. Oh, then I just got to pop in this photo because this is a really sweet one from a curtain call that Evelyn went to during rehearsal. It was during our last dress rehearsal. I love this one. Look at that face. Some happy faces. And by the way, I'm still obsessed with Alicia's eyeshadow and general overall makeup. And there's Chloe as the usherettes. I love that costume so much. Such good stuff. Another thing I wanted to mention, the fact we talked about this, that we had two riffraffs. So we had a riffraff opening weekend, who was Kit Wilder, because Matt Locke, I believe, had a schedule conflict, and then Matt has been playing the role for the rest of the run. I have a couple of photos, and then I want to ask, like, how this worked rehearsal-wise, and was it insane? I know you're all complete pros, so it was probably completely smooth, but it's still pretty wild. So let me show you a couple of photos here. This one is one of our pre-production photos by Christian Pizzirani. Love it. Beautiful, beautiful faces. I love Chloe holding the arm bone thing. That just cracks me up every time. I love that picture. And then this next photo is one that I haven't really put out in the world because I feel like these wonderful costumes were kind of a costume reveal. So I didn't want it to be like a spoiler. So there it is. Wow. Our beautiful aliens. Oh, Lonnie, you outdid yourself with these. Those are just gorgeous. So we had Matt and we had Kit. And how did you guys balance this all? Amber, like rehearsal schedule wise, how did this work with one riffraff and then another riffraff? And and by the way, Kit lives in Virginia, because that's another thing. How did it go?
Minor details. So the way that we managed it, I think that the reason that it worked so well is just having the confidence in these two lovely human beings. I worked with Matt before, so I did not have any worries about him stepping away and being able to jump right back in. And I think after, I don't know it as well as Lisa does, obviously, but they used to be married for people who don't know that. So obviously I don't know him as well as she does. But he had played in the show before, and he also is an equity actor. And so for me, I also know that you're held to kind of a higher level in terms of how you work and how quickly you can work, which, to frame it up also, I'm used to that type of work. And so I tried to structure the rehearsal process just like that. And I think the actors felt it. Please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. but it was definitely more along the lines of an equity process. And for those who don't know what that is, it's quite literally you have maybe a 3-week rehearsal process, maybe, and then you're going in a show, like you're done. So sometimes you're running things only once, sometimes you're touching things only one time before you're actually jumping into a full run of it. And then you get just kind of get released to go. And this group like stepped up to the task like phenomenally. So bringing Kit into the mix, he had done his homework. He and I talked a little bit beforehand. And also he was willing to come in and take a few extra steps of learning things, getting things down. But I mean, I have to like applaud both Kit and Matt, just like consummate professionals. Kit came in and killed it. And please feel free to like double check me, cast. But I felt like when Kit walked in and started delivering, I felt the rest of the cast respond. I felt the rest of the cast be like, oh, this is how we're doing this. Okay, we'll go there with you, Kit. We'll be in this universe with you. So, Kit, just turn your camera off. I feel like he just jumped in and like took the group to a really like next level. And then when Matt hopped back in, it was like totally different energy. Because I will say that their character presentations are very different, but both fit so well with everyone else. And so I think that, again, I didn't have any worries about Matt jumping back in, but I know it was fast and furious for him, and for Kit at the beginning. So I'll let you guys speak to it, but I think that for me, it wasn't so much about scheduling. I think I gave Lisa and Ron a heart attack with how little I wanted to schedule the group, but they did it so well and they rose to the occasion with being able to play like that. So
can I just jump in for a sec? I just want to say that we held auditions, right? Everybody had a chance to audition for the show. And Amber really was very conscientious during the auditions. And both Matt and Bart had conflicts that normally would mean there's no chance. Like we cannot. I mean, it's just not the way we do it. And what do you mean missing opening or cancel matinees, which are our biggest selling days? And I honestly, and Amber and I talked about this at length, but I knew that Matt and Bart would kill it in these roles. And I was like, what? Hold up. You're not quite off the hook yet. Bart was all, I'm sorry, I guess I can't do it because I can't get out of 2 Sundays. And I'm like, oh, just a second. And Matt was like, I guess I can't do it because I'm going to be out of town for like 2 weeks before the opening and opening weekend. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. And I have never, I mean, I think it's important to be flexible, but that kind of thing was unheard of before the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And then being shut down for 18 months and trying to come back, you really do have to learn how to adjust and be flexible. And in this case, it really helped us because I was like, I think we can work this out. Like, first of all, Amber, I know you haven't met Kit, but he could kill this without any rehearsal. Like, it won't be a problem.
Yeah, no.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah, no.
And then I thought, well, if we lose 2 matinees, if we can make up those performances and give everybody enough time, then I'm okay with that. So we added a double on Saturday, bless their hearts. That was a big day for them, but they did 2 and 8 on Saturday. And we added a midnight, which is this coming Friday night. So we didn't lose any performances. And honestly, can you imagine this particular production? This isn't against the 2003 one, Kit. Can you imagine this particular production without the, I mean, the ensemble together works so well, you know, Gwen and Alicia and Matt and Ethan and Karen, like everybody works, and Will, whom I did not know before the auditions, like everybody works so well together. I can't imagine not making that work to accommodate, which was actually selfish on our part. We said yes to their conflicts And I knew it would be worth it, and it totally is. And Kit did just come in. I was like, Amber, trust me. Yep, you want to hear a recording from Virginia? No problem, but just believe me, he'll be a big handful and he'll kill it. And then Matt will slide right back in. You know, I knew it was going to be okay. So it's very odd what we did. That's why I'm bringing it up. It's not the norm in running, you know, in running a theater company and the theater practices. And it's not usually that loosey-goosey in that way, but it was very carefully considered and very strategic. And I'm so glad that it all worked out. And got to give a lot of credit to the rest of the cast too. Yes. Who was willing to go with on that ride. And so I probably won't say anything else for the rest of the thing. So since I'm still talking, this cast is so beautiful and so lovely. I wish all of you could get to know each and every one of them better. They are individual, they are supportive, they're funny, they're talented, like from here to eternity. And most of them don't even know how talented they are. I'm like, oh, you don't even know what you have here yet, you know. And they're so great to be in the room with. And I've seen the show like 4 or 5 times, and it just gets better and better. And I know I say this about a lot of casts, but musicals are different. This is a lot of people, and honestly, musical personalities are different. I've been doing this for many years. And in musicals, you can tend to get a little bit more sticky bits. There's usually a little more tension. It's just like the nature of it. I don't know why, but it's true. This cast, I would run this show for the next year if I could, just to have them all in the building all the time. So thank you, honestly.
I have a feeling there are a few of them who would sign on, Lisa. And I just want to say really quickly, you know, we joke about 2003 and all of that because that's the first time we did it, and that was very special. But this cast knows in what high esteem I hold them. I told them so, you know, before we opened. You know, and I've had Rocky Horror in my blood for years and years and years and years and years. I was in it in 2003. I couldn't do it in 2013. I couldn't be involved in any way because I was working elsewhere. So when Lisa called me, I have to thank Lisa and I have to thank Matt for having a conflict. It was like Spielberg calling, for God's sake. It was like, yeah, I'll be there. What the heck? So Matt, thank you, and Lisa, thank you, because what a treat, you know. And I guess since I was available for 2 weeks, then Matt was able to do the show too. So I guess we're all grateful. Because Matt rocks it. Matt's like, please. So
I felt that it was seamless. Having Matt step in and having Kit there, you know, we had Matt for the first set of rehearsals, and then we had Kit, and then opening, and then Matt came back. I don't know. I don't do a lot of interacting, you know, because I'm kind of on the outskirts. But my interpretation of watching it all, it just seemed seamless. It didn't seem like anybody really had issue. So, and that says a lot again about the cast and about the 2 actors involved that, you know, just did their work and came in ready and made it so easy for all of us. So it's been a delight for both of you. And yeah, it was, I don't know, easy. Is easy a word to say? It was easy for us. I don't know if it was easy for you, but it's been great.
Oh, that's wonderful. Good stuff. The other thing I love about this cast is there are a lot of new faces too. We have a lot of regular members of the City Lights family, and now we have new members of the City Lights family. And Gwen, please come back and do every show that we do from now on. And Ethan was with us last summer at Kinky Boots, and he's back, and that's exciting. And it's just awesome. I got another photo that I love of Gwen and Bart here towards the end. I absolutely love this photo, and I just noticed that Chloe is making a funny face in the background. And Kit, what are you doing?
I'm just waiting for him to finish the damn song.
When am I not making a funny face?
I love this picture. I love this picture. And another one I really, really like.
Can I, before you shift the pictures,
Oh,
Becky,
yeah.
a really just quick story. The piece of direction that Amber gave Chloe and Mia up in the back on that pole, during this song was, guys react to it. He's he's stealing your thunder, all this kind of stuff. But don't do the same thing. So the entire time for days, it's like, oh, Chloe's standing up. I'll go down. Oh, Chloe got down. We were like doing this weird kind of impromptu choreography based on don't do the same thing.
Well, because you guys had gotten so in sync that literally you would automatically fall into the same stance.
Yeah.
And I was like, how is this happening? How are you in the same exact posture? So I was like, just do something different than each other. Just don't do the same thing. Okay.
Which was harder than doing the same thing.
I love it. I love it. And then I'll just pop up the other one that I wanted to show, which was Brad and Janet at the end. And it's just this cool rock concert / rom-com.
Can we also just take a minute here to call out Karsten, who is in charge of our lighting design, who added so much to the concept, to the just to the overall design. And I told Karsten personally, but that I've never had a lighting designer like let me so much into the process of his design, which was I was so gracious for. And he's just talk about collaborative. Like Karsten's just kind of like, tell me what you want, I'll make it happen. He was phenomenal to work with.
That's great. Before we don't want to miss out, I know Jonathan, our audience member here, has a hand up. Jonathan, do you have a question for us? Hi, Jonathan.
Not a question so much as a comment. I mean, one of the reasons why I was so keen to help produce the show, my wife and I.
Thank you so much for your support.
I first saw the movie in '77, and I've seen it more times than I could shake a stick at. I know everything, the whole show by heart. And but the thing that struck me about this show, I have to admit that it was one thing that was different in the movie. I loved Karen as the narrator. I loved her retorts to the comments of the audience. That just made it. It was amazing, Karen. Just amazing. Yeah.
Thank you so much. My years of teaching improv kind of served me well. And Amber, thank you for letting me do it. And sometimes it's almost comes across as a little bit combative, but for the most part, people are enjoying it. In fact, there was one night when a kid was just not shutting up, and he was going on and on and on, and it was like, this is getting to be a little much. And at one point, I say something, and like he said, "Good, we can go home." And I said, "Go for it," or something like that. Fine by me. But yeah, but yes, that's been really fun, and I'm glad you enjoyed that. It's been a delight for me too.
And I just have one question. When Frankenfurter talks about, building a man with blonde hair and a tan, he's good for getting my attention. I was just wondering if William was willing to dye his hair blonde for the rest of the run. It was one thing I found jarring because of the contrast with Frankenfurter's words. Yeah.
It's interesting though. I'm going to pipe in here, Jonathan. If you go back and you jog your memory for what you saw, the lines have changed.
Oh, they have?
He doesn't say blonde hair and a tan.
Oh, he doesn't. Oh, I must have.
No.
Okay.
You hear what you're.
So, but I know what was going on with you because you're hearing it in your head because you know it so well.
Yeah.
Okay.
He says soft hair and a tan, and I was even like, Will, how would you look as a blonde? Because it's been such a part of my life too. I mean, I used to live on the corner of Christopher and Gay Street in New York City, which was 2 blocks from the 7th Street movie theater. And so I was like, I don't know, why can't he just dye his hair? For those people, when you do things that people are used to seeing in a certain way, I mean, we've done this a couple times. We did the stage version of A Few Good Men. We've done what is another one where we where people are going to expect a certain something, like you can't disappoint them. You want to be different, you want to be unique, you want to be your own, you want it to be creative, but you also know that people are, and Amber and I had this conversation, and Amber was completely on the same page. She was like, yeah, there's a couple of things that you just have to give the audience, because because they don't want, you don't want to jar them from something familiar. And what we say at City Lights all the time is we try to bring you, you know, a couple of 3 shows out of the season that are familiar, which makes audience members more comfortable, and other things that aren't. And so when you do something like this, you're doing both. Where I wanted Amber to be able to have her vision. It didn't have to look anything like the 2003 or the 2013. It wasn't a remount. She made some amazing artistic choices, like a female, and specifically Karen as the narrator. Such the best decision. We had male narrators in 2003 and 2013, and now I'm like, why? You know, but that was one of those moments where I was like, just make him dye his hair. He filled out the form. He said it was fine, you know, but he says soft hair and a tan. And actually, you know, I think it's fine. But isn't it funny how we hear what we expect? Yeah.
And can I just add to that actually, Jonathan, just brings up like one of, I feel like the key, like the heart of this show is that okay, that isn't what we expect, right? And let's do it anyways. You know what I mean? Like that's where this show evolves and changes. And Rocky doesn't have to be blonde. Like, is it adding per se? Not necessarily character development. Oh my God, you guys would have killed me if you would have heard when I asked the cast what they would think about if we cut a certain song. And they all looked at me like I just ran over 17 dogs. But it's just like our preconceived notions of what gender should be or look like or physique or stature or posture or hair color, what it should look like. It's just so fascinating to me. And so I wanted to play with that as much as I could with this whole thing. And that's where Lonnie and I when we were talking costumes, Karen and I, she was like, well, Amber, I had a completely different idea. And I was like, well, we're going to go the other direction because you can, and it's something to help the show evolve in that way. So you're bringing up an awesome concept that we talked about a lot in what's the expectation of what we think we should see.
Well, if I might, you know, Rocky doesn't speak in the movie, and he has lots of lines in this movie. And I really think Will made this character his own, and he made it almost like a child. And even the way he walks, and he's just kind of, there's this innocence about him, which is very different from what you see in the movie. So even, and I have to say, whenever he comes out of the pot, I don't want to do any spoiler alerts for you, but when he comes out of the thing, he practically gets applause every night. So so there's just it's different from what people expect from the movie, but very quickly Will has the audience, you know, with him as a creature, as this child, as this creation that he's discovering the world. So yeah, it's kind of delightful to see that.
I loved Will's Rocky. It was incredible. I just thought I heard.
Oh, that's okay.
There.
Yeah, because we sing along in our head because we've seen it a bazillion times. I'm like you, Jonathan. I've seen it a bazillion times.
I just want to quickly call out, we have another original cast member here. Anthony, I believe you were in the 2003 cast. Am I right?
Yes, I was.
Yeah, want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Anthony Frederick Randa. He, him, his, y habla español, él. Sorry for the voice. I'm doing outdoor theater right now. It's not kind on anything. Yeah, no, I was in the original cast in 2003 with Kit. I was a Phantom Force member, and I was back in 2013, 2012, 2013?
2013, yeah, that's right.
2013, let's go with that. I played Eddie.
So cool.
Yeah.
And have you seen this production yet?
I have not seen this production yet because I have the wonderful theater thing of I'm doing a show at the same time you're doing a show. I'm literally opening another show next weekend. So hopefully, I don't know if you do another midnight.
Anthony,
midnight.
Yeah, there's a midnight show on Friday.
If there's a midnight show, I could probably get on early and go there.
Friday.
Okay, we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I absolutely definitely want to come and see this if I get the opportunity because I want to see, you know, it changes every single time. I mean, the 2003 version is radically different from the 2013 version, which is going to be radically different from this version. And that's how it should be. And it's good. It's good.
And I like your background image there.
Oh,
Very
this?
nice. Very nice.
It's like, what can I dig up for this meeting that'll be recorded forever?
I love it. And
Okay.
Anthony sent me some photos too that I'm going to put up on social media because they're great. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thank you.
So
Good to see
speaking
you,
of,
Anthony.
oh, go ahead. Speaking of 2003 production, Kit has so many great stories, but there's one story I really love that I really wanted you to tell tonight about the birth of your child, Soph. Will you share that story with us?
So
And Lisa's part of the story too, I guess.
Yeah, she's the star of the story, actually. When I was sitting, Rocky Horror was going to start rehearsal soon, and I was sitting at home, and Lisa was at the office and talking with Tom Goff, the then artistic director who was going to be directing Rocky Horror, and the phone rang, and I answered it, and Tom Goff said, "Hey, I really would love for you to do Frank for me." And I said, "Well, when can I come and sing for you?" He said, "No, you don't understand. I'm just casting you." I said, "Well, I can't accept without talking to Lisa. So when Lisa comes home, I'll talk to her about it because she's very, very pregnant and is going to be having this baby sometime while Rocky's doing its thing. So I don't know if I can be away, to be supportive, husband, dad person." And Tom said, "Well, she's sitting right here and told me to call you." I said, "Oh, well, okay, then fine." So we're in rehearsal and it's April and we're doing this rehearsal and I'm in my sweats and my heels and we're prancing around being all Frankenfurter and we somehow, I don't remember if it was a phone, whatever, back in 2003, however Lisa got in touch with me, maybe Semaphore or something, I don't know, and said, "Hey, listen," and it was April 14th or something, and she said, "Hey, listen, after rehearsal tonight, don't go out, come straight home." And I thought, "Oh, okay. Hi, Tom. I might be missing a couple of rehearsals. I gotta go." And went home. And a couple days later, Sophie was born on April 17th. And then a couple days later, Lisa said, "Yeah, fine, go away, go do the show," and I did. But the best part of the story is that it's May and we're doing the show, and Lisa brings Sophie in the little carry thing that snaps into the car, and comes to the show. And at the end of the show, we're all, we do the curtain call, we're all time warping and all that stuff. And Lisa brings Sophie out on stage to me, and I'm holding this tiny little person who frankly scares the holy bejesus out of me, and there we are, time warping together, and this happened like 3 or 4 times during the run. That little Soph was up there with me with her strange dad and all of his strange friends. But I credit this for Soph's complete lack of stranger anxiety. Dad and his friends are like, "Who are these freaks? Oh, this is the family I was born into." Okay. And that's the Soph is born during Rocky Horror story.
Sophie was born during Rock and Horror, yeah. And was the first outing. The first out of the house was to Rocky Horror. And just out of respect for my oldest child, whom I love with my entire heart, Sophie now goes by both Soph and Spence and goes by they, he pronouns. Since we're talking about them, I want to just respect that part.
And I don't think it has anything to do with the show, though.
Oh my God. Did you just say that out loud?
I did just because.
I'm so glad you shared that story. I love that.
Yeah, it was something. It was a very strange shift from one reality to another reality, and then back to the other reality, and then they just kind of merged, as life does,
I think the funny part is that theater people and all of you here that do this work know this, that I was like, yeah, do the show. I mean, yeah, there's a baby coming, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Do the show. And there's just something about theater people that, we just roll with things so beautifully.
Yeah, that's true.
When my son was about 8 months old, my friend called and said, "I want you to be Gooch and Mame." I said, "I got an 8-month-old." He's like, "Bring him." So I did all my rehearsals with Cameron in a backpack. And the lady who played Mame, we'd be doing our Gooch Mame scene, and she said this little head keep peeking around my shoulder. What's going on over there? So yeah, you're right. We just roll with the
Yeah.
punches. Bring the baby along. Put him on your back.
When my first son, so I've had 2 babies since I started working at City Lights. It has nothing to do with working at City Lights, but I don't know. So my first son, Sagan, Alicia's sitting there going like this. First time I brought him to the theater was during a rehearsal of Lizzie. I don't know if Chloe's still on the call. And I walk in with the baby, and Amy's up on stage singing, "What the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck now, Lizzie?" And I was like, welcome to theater, kid. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness, it's 8 o'clock. Okay, I don't know how this happened. Audience members, do you have questions you want to throw in there? We're having such a good time. Anthony, yes.
Sorry, just to jump in on the Kit story. I remember the first time that happened very clearly because Kit was downstage front and I was way off stage right. And we're doing time warp at the end and everybody's up and dancing, whatever. Finish it, all over, everybody's going crazy or all sweaty, whatever. And 2 people behind me like, really? They put a baby in this? Is that the line? They put a baby in this? I'm like, too long to explain. Too long to explain. Yeah, sure. We put a baby in the show. Whatever. That's fine. That's fine.
So that's what happened to those subscribers. Okay.
They never came back.
That's funny. I never knew that. That's funny.
Man. Dan's got a question for us in the chat. Thank you, Dan Hill, one of our regulars. Dan wants to know, how much variation have you gotten with the amount of audience callback participation? Good question.
Good question.
Who wants to take that?
Somebody else.
Bart or Matt?
Yeah, I think one of the cast should take that because
Yeah.
I know I'm not there for every show, and I don't know that everybody else is there.
Well, since I get to interact with them, I would say, they've been going like this. So it's a wide variation. We have some where there's none at all, and some where there's little bits, and some where it's quick. I think there's only been 2 performances when it's been almost intrusive, because I think some people forget that it's a live stage show. So you need to be able to hear your cues. The orchestra backstage need to be able to hear their cue. And if people are going so crazy with the callback, sometimes it can interfere with the flow because you can't screw up a movie. But you can screw up a live show. So sometimes, but only a couple times has it been where it's like, okay, that's enough. But for the most part, I would say there's been a little to moderate, and then a couple times when it's been crazy, and it's been fun in all aspects of it.
It's funny. I was pointing at Ethan and Matt because we haven't heard much from them, and I know we're getting short on time here. But there's a point. Alicia's pointing right at them. Okay, I've got a random question, but Gwen and Ethan, what happens to Brad and Janet after the story's over? What are you thinking?
Oh,
well, that's a good question.
Look at them switching places.
I don't know if we've talked about what happens to them after the show.
I think I don't know if it's canonically or just from whatever sort of fan-made sequel or fan-made fan fiction happens, but I think Janet gets pregnant, and do they end up together?
Yeah,
there is a sequel that Richard O'Brien wrote called Shock Treatment about Brad and Janet. I don't know it well, but I recommend that we all go and research it.
Yeah.
It apparently is not the big smash hit that Rocky is, because who knew? But yeah, he did write a sequel.
What do you think you did?
I think they definitely, at least the way in our version at the very least, we definitely play around. I actually think the last scene that we do is so cool to me. It feels like we take something really silly and have a very meaningful moment at the very end where it's oh my God, whoa. Actually, personally, I don't, when people are doing, there's some I love all the call outs, but especially in that part, I'm maybe just tone it down a little bit. We're getting serious for a second before the show ends.
And it's always only during Ethan's part.
It's during my or during Karen's last monologue also. But I think in our version, I think they really do love each other, and so then whether they've been brought apart, but they do they do leave together. So
Yeah, in that
yeah.
space, in that space and time,
Yeah.
we create a very tender and very almost full circle, but it turned into like an oval egg shaped sort of thing
Yes.
of an ending. And I think personally it feels really good to have that little bow whenever it may be untied in the future or past what we show the audience.
I love it so much.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Nice. Yeah, I definitely see that. Have the two of you worked together before?
No, we just met.
Oh.
Not really. Yeah. Yeah. Unlike I think we just met at the table read, right? Yeah.
Oh, it's nice because you've got great chemistry.
Oh,
Thanks.
I love
Oh, good. Sorry, go ahead. Good.
Oh, I was just saying, I was just gushing about everybody in the cast.
We don't really like to spend time together ever. You know? Yeah.
And I told Ethan at one point, I said, I love the kind of just the 50s way that your character speaks. I feel like it just immediately sets us in the place and time. It's just,
I very much liked and leaned into the like performative masculinity of sort of that era and like announcers and the way people like, TV hosts sort of presented themselves. I feel like that's what he's trying to be, I don't even think that's what he really sounds like. So yeah.
Oh, that's so nice. Thank you. Well, I think before we wrap up, let's also let Matt and Bart talk for a sec. I know you're not in the same room, but we've talked a lot about their particular chemistry and how much fun it is to have Charlie and Lola back together from Kiki Boots. Tell us how wonderful it is, because we love you.
It's wonderful. Thank you. No, it's so much fun getting to on stage. I love all of our scenes we get to do, and we like to be so goofy backstage. Like I love that we're like 2 for 2 on the City Lights shows, like last year and then this year, and I love Bart so much.
Oh, Matt, why are you doing this to me?
Join the club.
But I literally, I adore Matt to the fullest. I respect him as a performer. He's very smart. He makes creative choices. He takes risk. And his voice is out of this world. I mean, if you hear him singing backstage, his range of music is crazy. It's insane, like the range of music that he listens to. But it's funny that you asked this question because I leaned over to him the other day and I was like, you were like my little brother. I was like, you're like my little brother because we did Kinky Boots together and now we're doing Rocky Horror together. And we kind of have like this unsaid chemistry on stage where he can he knows if like I'm feeling off or if I'm forgetting something, or I can just give him a look and he will pick up my cue and I'm right back in it. So those are things that you can't pay for. Those are things that you can't. It's an unspoken word, and Matt is always that person that he's my brother. Like he's there for me again and again. And so I appreciate Matt so much.
Oh, so nice. Yeah, I remember doing Kinky Boots last summer. I was like, is there anything Matt can't sing? I was like, listen to that voice. Oh my goodness. Am I making him turn red just a tiny bit? That's okay. Okay, Bart and Matt, dream show that you could do together after this. If this doesn't run for a year, because it might not, what would you love to do together?
Go ahead, Matt. Answer the question.
Oh man. I don't know. Oh, you're asking me to think. Hold on.
I don't know. Anybody else have any ideas? What else should they be together in?
You got
it. Lacage.
Lacage.
They should do Lacage.
Yeah.
Shut up. That's an amazing idea.
Yeah.
Lisa, next summer, let's go.
Summer after.
Oh yeah, because we're already picking this.
Has to be the summer after. They could both be in Head Over Heels, but Go-Go's music, but it would have to be the summer after, but that's a great idea.
Lacage. Oh yeah, I'd see that show.
I also want to see Bart in a show at City Lights in pants.
Yeah, me too.
A pants roll.
Yeah, he wears pants sometimes in Lacage.
Why? I like it in not pants.
My mom said
I
it
know.
too. She said, can you wear some pants and no wigs?
honestly, I mean, he's fabulous as it, like, seriously, but I do believe in that artist as a versatile artist, and
Yeah.
I want to find something else.
Bart,
Maybe
what's
not quite yet, though. Let's like head over heels and lacage it, and then we'll do something.
What's the song in Kinky Boots where Matt and Bart are singing the locker room and he's talking about his dad?
Oh,
Not my father's son.
Okay, I mean, you're in pants for that, right?
You're right.
Yeah,
You're right. You're
that was
right.
a beautiful song. And I was like, I'd also love to see more of that side of Bart. I mean, that was just gorgeous.
I
Okay.
was just thinking of the harmonies in that song. I wasn't even thinking about the pants.
Oh, this is definitely the Mutual Admiration Society. So nice. All right, we were at 8:10. We're going a little long, and that's okay. Before we wrap up, I see a hand going up. Anybody else have other comments, other questions? Karen, I know it looks like you have something you want to say.
No, I was just waving.
Oh.
This has been fun. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Thank you all. Oh, Will. Will's got something else to say. Yes, Will.
Yeah, so yeah, I haven't performed in 10 years and it's coming back to it. Just hit the ground running, go, 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 go. It was such a condensed rehearsal process and I didn't feel intimidated by it for 1 second because of the team that we have here. So yeah, I'm really grateful to have been a part of all of it. I'll never forget it. It's been my favorite experience. I'm having like the time of my life every day. So thank all of you. And yeah, I can't wait to be there on Wednesday.
Oh, that's wonderful. And Anthony says in the chat, what's the plan for doing this show 10 years from now? So that's a question for Lisa.
We'll ask the young people 10 years from now.
Well, Kit, you did say you want to play the narrator someday.
Oh, for God's sake.
I got a hit for the cycle, man. Come on. Do the wheelchair, do the
I could
narrator
be
thing,
I could be the elderly party goer going, lovely party. That would be
Lovely party. Yeah, that's great. I think, yeah, you should have Karen and me come along and limp through the show somehow.
Honestly, though, I think it's really cool that there's like, no joke, 40 years difference between Matt and Kit playing the same role a week apart. And that's the beauty of theater. I mean, it's one of the beautiful things. There are so many, but that is one of them that I think is really cool. Kit's like, thanks for that.
Matt's only 8 years old.
No, believe you me, 2 weeks of a very intensive rehearsal thing to get this and to keep up with all of these amazing performers. It was actually more taxing in a great way, but more taxing than like a 5-week rehearsal process. Because it's so condensed and they're so on top of it. And it was so like, get it right, get it right, get it right, get it right. And I'm like, boy, I'm just trying to get it at all. But what a great group though. What a great group. I was proud and honored to be a part of with all of you. And Matt and I, when we kind of just got to know each other and then he left, we had like 2 conversations. I sort of feel like we should like, tag team it. He'll do a scene, I'll do a scene. You do a scene, I do a scene.
Oh God.
See what...
Oh Lord.
It'll be so much fun.
I do want to say that we will do it again in 10 years, Chloe. Don't you worry. I mean, it's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a thing for us. And it was 11 years apart, just FYI, because it was the 50th anniversary. So they locked down the rights and we couldn't do it. So that's why it was like 2003, 2013, and 2024, not 23. We tried.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? Maybe it'll only be 9 years just to catch up on the 10 train. But I do want to say thank you specifically to Jonathan and Kathy for supporting this show.
Yes.
This has been a really hard time for theaters, and having people say, I want to support that project is so amazing. So amazing. So thank you both so much. And Paul and Nancy too are our
Yes.
season sponsors. And they basically said that for all 6 shows this year. So, I mean, we belong to the community. We're here to serve the community, but we can't do it without the community. Like, it is really both. People always say, like, so are you a community theater? And I say, no, but we are here to serve the community. And we couldn't do it without all of you. Without all of you. Mostly, no, I shouldn't say that. But I'm like, we're nothing without the artists, right? Nothing. There is no show without the artists. But I'm just so grateful to all of you. Lauren is a huge supporter as well. Dan shows up. I mean, participation, like showing up, is one of the biggest things that everyone can do. And Dan shows up.
Yes.
And even like, yeah.
Oh,
to
Dan
everything.
and I met in person. So Dan is a regular at our Zoom events, which is just wonderful. We started off doing them during the shutdown in April 2020. And just a couple weeks ago was the first time Dan and I actually met in person, not in the Zoom. He came to our Lights Up Festival of New Plays, which was wonderful. Thank you, Dan. It was so great to meet you in person.
You too.
Yeah.
Thank you to everyone so much. Oh, Lisa, you got one more thing to say? No, you're done. I'm going to let you all go enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you. We run for 2 more weekends, including that midnight show on Friday, which will have a costume contest. So if you're an audience member and you want to wear a costume, we're all set. Thank you so much. Everyone have a wonderful night, and don't dream it, be it.
Good night. Thank you.